Hollywood loves a good underdog story. The unknown actor who becomes a star, the indie filmmaker who strikes it big, the struggling screenwriter who wins an Oscar. But my story, it would make even the most dramatic Hollywood script seem tame. My name is Alexandra Alex Chen, and this is the story of how I went from being just a stunt double to owning one of the biggest streaming platforms in the world. The red carpet premiere of Midnight Strike was exactly what you'd expect: designer gowns, flashing cameras, and enough ego to fill the Hollywood Bowl twice over. I stood off to the side, watching Marcus Sterling, head of Sterling Studios, hold court with his usual entourage. "Streaming is dead," he declared, loud enough for nearby reporters to hear. "Traditional studios will always control the industry. These tech upstarts don't understand the business of entertainment." I smiled, thinking about the confidential reports on my laptop showing Sterling Studios plummeting viewership numbers and mounting debt. What Marcus didn't know was that while he was clinging to old Hollywood models, I had spent the last 8 years building Vertex Streaming into an entertainment powerhouse, all while working as a stunt double on his productions. Jessica, the lead actress I doubled for, waved me over. "You have to meet Marcus. He's been telling us fascinating things about the industry's future." I walked over, wearing a simple black dress that cost more than Marcus would guess. To him, I was just another crew member, someone who made his stars look good while remaining invisible herself. "Ah, the stunt girl," Marcus said dismissively. "Jessica's been singing your praises, though I don't know why she bothers with doubles. CGI is the future." "CGI has its place," I replied carefully, "but audiences can tell the difference between real action and computer graphics." He laughed, the sound echoing with condescension. "What would you know about audiences? You just fall off buildings for a living." If he only knew, while I was just falling off buildings, I was also analyzing viewing patterns, developing advanced algorithms for content recommendation, and building a streaming platform that would revolutionize how people consumed entertainment. Speaking of audiences, a studio executive chimed in. "Have you seen the numbers for Vertex Streaming? They're eating into traditional viewership." Marcus waved his hand dismissively. "A temporary blip. These tech companies don't understand storytelling. Who's behind Vertex anyway? Some anonymous tech billionaire who probably never set foot on a real movie set." I bit back a smile, remembering the morning's confidential meeting with my board of directors. The acquisition of Sterling Studios was proceeding exactly as planned, though only a handful of people knew who really owned Vertex. "I heard they're looking to acquire a traditional studio," another executive mentioned. "Inside sources say they're in talks with several major players." "Let them try," Marcus scoffed. "Sterling Studios isn't for sale at any price. We've been making movies since the golden age of Hollywood." What he didn't know was that his studio's not-for-sale status was about to change. Years of mismanagement and resistance to changing viewer habits had left Sterling Studios vulnerable. Their latest quarterly report, hidden from the public but obtained by my team, showed they were 3 months away from potential bankruptcy. My phone buzzed, a message from my CFO. "Final paperwork signed. We own controlling interest in the shell companies holding Sterling's debt. Ready to move whenever you give the word." I excused myself from the group, making my way to the theater's balcony for privacy. 8 years of careful planning were about to pay off. 8 years of being underestimated, dismissed, and ignored while I built something revolutionary. The idea for Vertex had come to me during long days on set, watching the inefficiency and waste in traditional film production. While other stunt performers complained about the grueling hours, I was studying everything: production schedules, budget allocations, distribution models. My economics degree from Stanford and MBA from Harvard, both earned quietly between film projects, gave me the tools to analyze what I was seeing. "Alexandra." Marcus's voice interrupted my thoughts. He'd followed me to the balcony. "You're missing the premiere preparations, though I suppose you've seen enough of these from the sidelines." "Just getting some air," I replied. "Big crowds aren't really my thing." He leaned against the railing, clearly in the mood to pontificate. "You know, I've been in this business for 30 years. Want to know the secret to success? Please enlighten me." "Knowing your place in the hierarchy. Take you, for example. Good stunt double, from what I hear. But you'll never be more than that. The real power in Hollywood belongs to people who understand the big picture." I thought about the algorithms I'd developed, the viewing data we collected, the way Vertex had transformed how audiences discovered and consumed content, about the revolutionary production model we were about to unveil that would change filmmaking forever. And what is the big picture, Marcus? Control, he said smugly. Control the distribution, control the industry. These streaming services, they're just temporary. The real studios, the traditional power players, will always run Hollywood. My phone buzzed again. A message from my head of acquisitions. Sterling's creditors are on board. We can call their loans whenever you're ready. You seem very confident, I observed. Of course I am. Sterling Studios has survived every challenge for 80 years. We'll survive these tech upstarts too. Though, he smirked, I hear Vertex is particularly desperate to break into traditional production, probably run by some computer geek who thinks algorithms can replace real filmmaking experience. The irony was almost too perfect. While Marcus was dismissing tech companies, Vertex had been quietly revolutionizing the industry. Our data-driven approach to content creation had produced some of the most successful shows of the past year, shows that Sterling Studios had passed on. Time for the premiere, he said, checking his Rolex. Try to stay out of the shot during the red carpet photos. We want to maintain a certain image, you understand. As he walked away, I pulled out my phone and sent a simple text to my team. Execute Phase 1. Within minutes, financial news sites would begin reporting on Sterling Studios' precarious financial position. By morning, their stock would be in free fall. And by Monday's board meeting, Marcus would learn exactly who had been just a stunt double all these years. But first, I had a premiere to attend. After all, every good Hollywood story needs a dramatic reveal. The morning after the premiere, Marcus Sterling's world began to crumble. Financial news channels led with the story. Sterling Studios in crisis. Iconic Hollywood studio faces potential bankruptcy. The stock price plummeted as analysts revealed the company's massive debt and declining market share. I watched it unfold from my real office, not the stunt coordinator's trailer where Marcus thought I worked, but the top floor of Vertex's sleek headquarters in Silicon Beach. The wall of screens displayed real-time data, viewing statistics, content engagement metrics, and Sterling Studios' rapidly falling stock price. They're calling for an emergency board meeting, my assistant reported. Marcus has been trying to reach every major bank in town. Let him try, I replied, reviewing the latest numbers. We control all his significant debt now. The plan had been years in the making. While Marcus was dismissing streaming as a fad, Vertex had been revolutionizing how content was created, distributed, and consumed. Our algorithms didn't just predict what audiences would watch. They helped create better content by identifying underserved stories and overlooked talent. My phone rang. Jessica, the actress I doubled for. Alex, what's going on? Marcus is having a meltdown in his office. Something about hostile takeovers and streaming conspiracies. You might want to skip the studio today, I advised. Things are about to get interesting. Wait, do you know something about this? Let's just say your next project might have different management. The emergency board meeting was scheduled for 2 p.m. at Sterling Studios headquarters. I arrived early, parking my Tesla in Marcus's reserved space, a small but satisfying detail. The security guard, used to seeing me in stunt gear, did a double take at my Hermanus suit. The boardroom was chaos when I walked in. Marcus was red-faced, shouting into his phone while board members huddled in concerned groups. No one noticed me at first. They were too busy watching their empire collapse. Who the hell is buying our debt? Marcus demanded of his CFO. Where did Vertex even get the capital for this? Actually, I said clearly, we've had the capital for quite a while. We were just waiting for the right moment. The room fell silent as every head turned toward me. Marcus's phone slipped from his hand. What are you doing here? He stammered. Attending my first board meeting as Vertex's CEO and majority shareholder of Sterling Studios. I sat down at the head of the table. Shall we begin? This is absurd. Marcus exploded. You're a stunt double. I'm also the founder and owner of Vertex Streaming. Amazing what people will overlook when they've decided what you can and can't be. I opened my laptop, connecting it to the room's display system. Let's review Sterling Studios' position, shall we? Your content development strategy is outdated, your production costs are unsustainable, and your resistance to streaming has left you vulnerable in a changing market. The board members watched in stunned silence as I presented detailed analyses of their failures and our solutions. While you were dismissing streaming as a fad, I continued. Vertex was developing next-generation content delivery systems. While you were clinging to outdated distribution models, we were building direct relationships with audiences worldwide. But the stunt work, someone muttered, was the perfect cover for studying the industry from the inside. Nothing teaches you more about filmmaking than seeing it from every angle, including falling off buildings. I smiled at Marcus. Though unsure you think that's beneath a real studio executive. Marcus rallied slightly. The board won't stand for this. We have traditions, relationships. The board, I interrupted, has a fiduciary duty to shareholders. Would anyone like to explain why Sterling's market value has dropped 60% while Vertex's revenues have grown 300% year over year? I displayed our plans for modernizing Sterling's operations, advanced production techniques that would cut costs while improving quality, data-driven content development that would minimize risk while maximizing creative freedom, a streaming-first distribution model that would reach global audiences instantly. This is our industry's future, I explained. You can fight it and lose or join us and help shape it. One by one, the board members began to nod. Even Marcus's closest allies could see the writing on the wall. And what happens to current management? Marcus asked weakly. That depends. Those who can adapt are welcome to stay. Those who can't. I gestured to the door. The choice is yours. The transition was swift and comprehensive. Most of Sterling's executive team chose early retirement rather than adapt to new methods. We promoted talented mid-level managers who had been held back by the old hierarchy. Within months, Sterling Studios became a case study in successful digital transformation. Marcus made one final attempt to save face, calling a press conference to denounce tech company interference in traditional filmmaking. It backfired when reporters asked about Vertex's superior content engagement metrics and creator-friendly policies. The industry changed rapidly after that. Other studios scrambled to modernize, but we had a years-long head start. Our combination of traditional filmmaking expertise and advanced technology created a new model for entertainment production and distribution. A year later, I stood on the same balcony where Marcus had lectured me about knowing my place. The view was the same, but everything else had changed. Sterling Studios, now a division of Vertex Entertainment, was producing more content than ever, and reaching larger audiences than Marcus had thought possible. Jessica stuck her head out the door. They're ready for you. Big crowd. I was about to give my first public speech as Vertex's CEO, revealing the face behind the streaming giant's success. The press had been speculating for weeks about the mysterious tech billionaire who had revolutionized Hollywood. By the way, Jessica added with a grin, Marcus is hosting a new show on our platform. Classic Hollywood stories. It's actually doing quite well with our nostalgia-loving demographic. I smiled. Success, after all, is the best revenge. The conference room was packed with industry leaders, reporters, and curious onlookers. As I walked to the podium, I caught sight of my old stunt crew in the back, grinning proudly. They'd known my secret for years, helping me understand the industry from every angle. Good afternoon, I began. Many of you know me as a stunt performer. Some of you may have even dismissed me as just a stunt double. Today, I want to talk about how that perspective helped create what Vertex has become. For the next hour, I explained our vision for the future of entertainment, a future where technology enhances creativity rather than replacing it, where success is measured not by corner offices and power lunches, but by the ability to connect stories with audiences. The headlines the next day were predictably dramatic. Stunt double revealed as streaming mogul, and Hollywood's greatest plot twist. But my favorite response came from a young woman at the studio, an assistant who approached me after the speech. I've been taking night classes in data analytics, she said. Everyone says I should focus on getting coffee and making connections instead. But after hearing your story, I gave her my card. Come see me Monday. Vertex always needs people who understand both the human and technical sides of storytelling. Because that's the real moral of this Hollywood tale. Success isn't about fitting into someone else's story. It's about being brave enough to write your own, even if you have to fall off a few buildings along the way.